Hi, everybody. Dave Hovde from the National Weather Association National Meeting in Anaheim, and I found our friend Eric Boldt from the Oxnard Weather Service office. How you doing, Eric?
Great.
Good to see you again, too. So, obviously, we're talking a lot about the science and technology that's going to help us as forecasters, but how important is it to go to a conference like this and get up to date with the latest tech? How important is something like this?
It's really important for all of us in the weather enterprise to understand all this new information we're seeing, and also just to hear the latest and networking with people. Seeing the media here is great because we get to catch up on what we talk about either through Facebook or emails or something like that. So face-to-face interaction is perfect.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So we just had a crazy event in Santa Barbara. We had that microburst. And so I think in terms of our market, our area, and talking about people's preparedness and the Weather Service's role, wow, between last winter, the extreme heat we've seen, it's pretty critical information to have an open line of communication, right?
Definitely. It seems like the weather just keeps getting a little bizarre as we see storm after storm gives us kind of these weird things like Santa Barbara's microburst. Very unusual to see that, especially this time of the year. Kind of a fluke storm that had a lot of things going up way up above the mountains, and then all of a sudden just went boom and collapsed right down to the ground, and we had all this outflow wind and some pretty significant damage. People weren't aware of what's going to happen with that kind of storm.
And tropical interaction, crazy stuff. Okay, so moving forward, coming off a really wet year, what is kind of your view of perhaps what we may be headed for this year, or is it too early to say? How would you couch it so far?
You know, these long-term forecasts I always get wrong. They're really tough to come out with a prediction about what's going to happen for the whole season. It's pretty rare for us to see back-to-back wet years, so I don't want to jinx us, but I think we have to be prepared for more dry conditions. You know, we've had 5 years of drought. We had that 1 year last year that gave us a little bit above normal. And it was nice, but we didn't totally get out of our drought in Southwest California.
Not in Santa Barbara County, we didn't, and Ventura either.
The reservoirs were like 15 to 18% capacity, but at the end of the drought, then we had the rain, we got up to about 50%. We're still a long ways away where we need to be comfortable with the drought situation. So even though the rest of the state's kind of out of it right now, we're not. And the forecast, like you said, is kind of early to tell what we're going to be. If we go toward a La Nina, that's usually not very favorable for us, especially across the southern part of the country. Often is drier than normal.
Okay. And one other thing that we're finding out at this conference, too, new launch of a satellite in November from Vandenberg that could actually give us some pretty great tools in terms of the data goes into models.
Right. That's the polar orbiting satellite that we often need to give us really good detail about water vapor. And that's this kind of thing that gives us these atmospheric rivers across Southwest California. It gives us a lot of rainfall, usually beneficial, but also can be devastating floods. So that's a very valuable tool. And then next spring, we get our own GO satellite, which is also a big story. On the West Coast, we'll see very high detail about every day's weather events.
So we're still working on making it better. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. And again, from the National Weather Association National Conference in Anaheim, and we will have more on social media, so follow along. Have a good one.